Hi, this is Julie at Love's Beginning with a message called Experiences of Thought, Sight, and Sound. And before I started, I wanted to just say, wow, this one, I think it's long, I'm not sure, but it just really seemed to penetrate into the sticky spots where I'm still attached to egoic thought and to help me see what I haven't been really seeing yet, to help me with my most difficult and intense times. So I really appreciated that. And that is why I don't know, it seemed to stop and pause and really penetrate into what I think is happening versus what is happening. So I hope there's some benefit for you in it. The only thing that is predatory is egoic thought. Egoic thought gives you the experience of predators and prey, and it is this way because you want it this way. You have put a system of protection in place, and the system of protection has never worked because the whole point of ego is to give you the experience of death as a separate one, to convince you that what you are can end, can be destroyed. The ego teaches at your request that you are both predator and prey. The ego tells you that it is possible for you to attack because you wanted to be distracted from what is real. The ego tells you that it is possible for you to be pursued, hunted, and destroyed, whether by human, disease, or mishap. The reason the ego sends you thoughts to give you these experiences is that you invented ego to do this very thing. Ego isn't real. You invented what is unreal to give you unreal experiences because you wanted them. You wanted to turn away from what is real. We are highlighting the fact that you experience what you wanted precisely because you are approaching the point at which you can see that you don't want the fiction of ego anymore. When you experience fear or resistance of any kind, it means you believe thoughts about something stalking you, something being after you. You believe in a threat. You would rather believe in specific, form-based threats rather than acknowledging what you truly perceive to be a threat. So you seem to have many particular fears about individual things, and you seem to have different types of negative reactions to different things. It is a trick of the mind. All of this difference and variety distracts you from what you really fear. You fear love. You fear love because you attempted to turn away from it. In this world, the ultimate stalker seems to be death. It is what seems to be coming for every separate one, no matter how much they try to resist or avoid it. You wanted death, and you give the experience of death to yourself with thought, over and over and over again. It seems as if you are victim to fear, but fear is what you choose. What you seem to fear, you actually want. You want what seem to be these horrible things, these awful experiences, because they distract you away from what is real. You are trying not to look at what is real because you believe it will destroy you. You believe that what is real will destroy you because you got confused. Here's how you got confused. You misidentified as separate. It was a mistake, never a crime, even though it led to perception of all that you call crime and all that you would call victimhood. Perception is not real. It is an experience you give yourself with thought. Now that you are identifying as separate, you fear love, what is real, because it shines away all perception of separation. Love shines away what you perceive to be yourself. It does not shine you away, because you are love itself. You are coming to know this. You are coming to remember this, and as you remember, you can allow. You can allow Spirit to direct what you once projected out of fear, your experience. Spirit can direct every facet of your experience, and Spirit always has your best interests at heart because you are Spirit. Spirit does not and cannot work against itself. Working against something is only possible in an illusion where there seem to be separate somethings. As you remember how to allow, Remember that the ego can use words and the wholeness of all can use words. You know who is using the words by how you feel. Let's say that someone who seems to be not you is speaking. You hear the words, and the words reveal that you don't feel good. Ego would have you every time cite the speaker as the cause of your unrest. The cause of any unrest, however, can only be reliance upon the ego for your perceptions. Give thanks that your reliance upon ego has been exposed, and find your willingness to allow the whole of all to direct your perceptions. Find your willingness to allow the whole of all to determine what you will hear from those you call other. Find your willingness to allow the whole of all to determine the words that you speak. The ego can use images, and the wholeness of all can use images. Consider the images that appear in your physical reality. Look at this slowly. Anything you seem to see physically, the ego can determine it, or the whole of all can determine it. Find your willingness to allow the whole of all to be the deciding factor in what you seem to physically see. Then there are the images you receive in mind only. The ego can be the sender of these images. The whole of all can be the sender of these images. Find your willingness to allow the whole of all to be in charge of everything that is seen in mind. Sometimes your computer asks for permission to use the camera and the microphone. The Holy Spirit requires permission to give you experiences of thought, sight, and sound. Whenever you experience distress or resistance of any kind, that message is up there on the screen, the one asking for permission to use your camera and microphone. All you have to do is click on it. In other words, all you have to do is go within to your willingness to see what the Holy Spirit would show you, to hear what the Holy Spirit would say to you and through you, to experience the thoughts that the whole of all would send to you. Visit your willingness so often that eventually you never leave it. We want to look at this period of before the breakthrough. When you are giving yourself the experience of resistance, it seems to occupy a certain period of time, and during that time it seems that you are able to do nothing but resist. First of all, give thanks. Your habit of resistance to the light is being exposed. What is exposed can be washed away. What is happening when you are resisting? That message is up there at the top of the screen, the one asking for permission for the whole of all to access your camera and microphone. There is something else you prefer, however. You prefer the illusions of what and why. You focus on what is wrong, adding many details. You focus on why this thing is wrong, adding more details. You focus on all these different details because you really want to be distracted. You really want to be distracted away from what would help you, love, because you also think it will destroy you. So you hang on to this painful sense of you instead. Because you have confused yourself with egoic thought, you are attempting to survive as a separate and victimized entity that never truly existed. You could just be yourself instead. Yourself. That would be much easier. So now you are coming to see this. You are coming to see, even in the middle of resistance, how you are attempting to distract yourself away from what is real. You are now more able, even in the midst of intense resistance, to remember that you don't want to suffer anymore. You don't want to fight love anymore. So you are going to give it up. This struggle to distract yourself that has occupied all of time, you are going to give it up. And you give it up by going to your place of willingness to allow Spirit to use the camera and the microphone. What you see can be determined by Spirit. What you hear can be determined by Spirit. What you think can be determined by Spirit. Are you willing? Find that yes, and you are holding the key to release from self-imposed suffering. We gladly hand you this key as soon as you extend your hand to take it. It is our delight to join with you in the joy we are. Thanks for listening.